Today's episode is recorded live on Desolation Trail in Millcreek Canyon, Utah.
Yo. Welcome to the Post-Reality Podcast featuring John and Micah. Doing what we do. Here we go.
All right, welcome to what is it that you called it today?
The Post-Reality Podcast.
The Post-Reality Podcast.
What does that mean to you, John?
Well, a little backstory. Micah sends me texts about these crazy kind of, a little bit like right-wing, but kind of independent thinker articles. And I see them and I'm like, am I going to read that? No. Like, I'm not going to.
That's like long. It's like 5 minutes of reading at least.
Yeah, it really is. It's not that, it's really just that I think it'll just confuse me more than anything. I mean, knowledge is power, but where is this information coming from?
Yeah,
So
where do you store it? Where do you put it? What do you do with this information? That's kind of a good question.
it is.
And that led us to how we process information as individuals or as a society. And that's kind of what the Post-Reality Podcast is about, is that process. How do I process this information? What does it mean?
What does it mean? And I think we probably find ourselves asking that more and more these days. I'm not sure exactly when that started, but it definitely seems like life as I knew it when I was a kid isn't the same. And things that I was told were fact were just actually
Made up shit.
made up shit. Exactly. So let's kind of dive in with the topic here. You sent me an article today, something about Obama.
Yeah, it was a New York Post story. I think the original news came from Circa. I've never heard of them. Anyway, it was about the NSA was doing some illegal, possibly data gathering, and they were sharing that information with some government contractors, and someone at the Post was putting a story together that Obama was behind it or something. So for me,
The New York Post?
New York Post, I believe.
Okay.
New York Post, which I don't know if they're credible or not. I saw the article of a bunch of different news outlets, but I was thinking, what does it mean? And for me, it tied into a story where I think there's it sounds so crazy.
Hold on a
when I
second.
see somebody, when I see myself on the camera, it sounds even crazier.
Yeah, that's an astute observation. But let's kind of dive into it though. So why did you send it to me?
It's a good question, because I wanted to surprise everybody with the spy ring that I've been seeing and following, and this expose some of the spy ring and explain some of my reality to other people.
How did you think I would react when I read that?
I thought you wouldn't read it. I thought you would react like, oh, here's crazy Mike again sending me some crazy spy shit. Which it's just more fun to share stuff and get people's reaction. Like I've accepted that my reality is not close to what, if there was an objective reality, it's not close to it, and it's not close to other people's reality. But it's kind of fun sometimes when my reality, I see spy rings and devious plots and fanciful explanations for news. That's the truth.
And quite frankly, that's probably why we're friends, because in my own twisted way, it's the same thing. Like, you break down, you look at reality sometimes and you just kind of say, wait, I got to take this with a grain of salt. And you don't know whether it's because people are stupid, or because there's some sort of flaw in the system, or what led us to this point. And I don't know if everybody thinks that way, but I do know that from my experience, a lot of people do. A lot of people are starting to say, wait a second, what is real and what is fiction?
Yeah, that's really the crux of it, is figuring out what is the story inside your own head, figuring out what you believe is true, and then sounding it off against what we think of as reality and seeing how accurate it is, how well it predicts the future, how well it fits with your life and your own little world, how well it helps you interact.
As to a little bit of backstory with what you believe or where you're at, are you happy with the who won the election?
Who am I happy with? Who won it?
Yes.
I would say yes and no at the same time. Yes, because I believe that. I know this sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. It's actually good to watch yourself on a podcast, because then you see how crazy you look to other people.
Yeah.
It's actually really helpful.
I just noticed that my belly was hanging over and I needed to adjust my shirt. So
I've
that's what I
noticed
got
I've
out
got
of
a
it.
double chin too, or a triple.
It looks good today.
Looks
you
better.
look sharp
looks
today.
better.
Yeah.
So happy would probably be the wrong word. A little backstory. 2016 shook up so many of my notions of reality. Probably like a lot of other people, you had what is going on in the world, what is all this, what's true, what's not, what the hell is going on. You have Trump, who's literally looks like a madman and a crazy clown, and then you have Hillary with 30 years of scandal, possibly corruption, possibly, nobody really knows. But either way, you know it's not going to be good. You're not hopeful.
You pretty much had like a crazy clown or an old vagina.
Crazy Clown was the turning point for me to question the reality. I actually read an article by Scott Adams that was titled "Crazy Clown" or something more, and it helped me to process what I was seeing, or what I thought I was seeing.
And so what was his take on it in a sentence?
His take is that what we believe is an objective reality is probably 95% false, and it's made up in your head on the fly, and you rationalize the decisions you make after you make them.
Okay. And
I've adopted that mindset now.
so like everything, so that's really where a lot of this has come from the last 6-8 months.
Yeah, I'd say the last year. It's been about a year where I went off the deep end and just reassessed my own viewpoints, my own self, and where I fit into the world.
Okay, well, hold up just a little bit, but what do you mean by deep end?
Well, I had an idea of how the world worked and how I worked and how everything was supposed to work, how it was supposed to work out. Yeah, kind of a storyline in my head. I'm like, Scott Adams uses the example of you're watching a movie, and then there's characters in the movie, and they're supposed to play out a certain way according to the storyline. And so when Trump came into the storyline didn't make sense because he looked like either Hitler or a crazy clown, or
Yeah.
So for my story, in my upbringing and background, I place this into this is the end of the world. There's a lot of whatever end time prophecy crap, which it never pans out, but that's the story I told myself. So I had to assess it because this was literally like, how can this happen? And I think everybody had that same shock, like how is he winning all the Republican primaries, and it was just amazing that in the end he won, and everybody was shocked, and then now we're dealing with the aftermath of what does it mean.
Definitely. For me, that's interesting. What I found so interesting about it is that it was the most entertaining thing ever.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
I was watching it, and it was like watching watching a rap battle. It was like watching Eminem come up, or was like watching Happy Gilmore take the golf world by storm with unconventional methods. And that tripped me out, man, because it was great, and I'd love to watch it, yet I'd watch him, and I'd just be like, that guy's a madman, and he's lying, and there's people talking about real stuff, and nobody's listening. They just want to see somebody get drilled into and just zinged. They just wanted somebody to get rapped like, "Yo, mama."
Yeah, I think that was one of the best, the most entertaining parts of it is that you can't look away. It's our new reality Donald has captured our attention for good or bad. We can't look away. Like, he's in people's heads, like, for good or bad. I don't think you can go a week. I don't even think some people can go a day without thinking about him because he's like, I think of him as the Kim Kardashian. He's like, this is the reality show president for us. And it's kind of mind-blowing that we've come to this spot where reality and fiction, politics, we can't tell the difference. I mean, because he, let's say, to put it mildly, he exaggerates and stretches the truth. And on the other side, he's completely insane and he lies about everything. And I can see both.
It's
both
like every
points.
American has had anal with Donald Trump. I mean,
Yeah,
no, but
yeah,
it's just like after it's happened, you're just kind of like, oh God, I'm not gonna forget you when you're, like you put your like fingerprint on me. Like, what am I gonna do now? Where do I go from here? I'm not gonna say it was rape because we wanted it. No, but we wanted it. I mean,
when you say the truth, it's funny. Like it rings true because we did want it. We wanted to see what was going to happen. We still do. We're still on the ride. We're still on what I'm calling the post-reality world. We're living in a new world where people's reality, people's perspectives are so far apart. The movie they're watching is so different. It's causing all this friction. Like for me, I'm watching a spy novel.
Very unprofessional.
This is the new reality. This is who we are. We don't have to hide it behind something we're not.
Spit gum in the woods. I'm a douche. I'm a dick. I mean, I should find that gum, or maybe a squirrel will take it.
Nah, I don't.
Maybe a squirrel dies. I don't know.
John, don't kill squirrels. Here's a good example.
It's already been set in motion.
Why are you killing squirrels? Why do you hate squirrels so much?
I don't hate
squirrels. Are you
squirrels.
anti-squirrel?
I just spit my gum out.
I want you to disavow gum spitting. That's the two perspectives on a simple spit of gum. John wants to kill squirrels, or he just spit gum.
Not your best comparison, but it works. It's a good one to start the opening podcast off with. No, but I get it. I mean, it's just like, why did we do it? Like, there is no looking back now. We can go look for that gum, but that creates a whole new problem because then I'm stomping around in nature. If I'm stomping around in nature, that's bad, right? Because then I should have just left it there. Maybe a squirrel eats it.
Yeah.
I mean, but will it take care of itself? I don't know. But if I go stomp around over there, that's a bad thing. I could kill some trees.
It's not bad at all. Killing trees is fine. They're like gigantic weeds. You can't get rid of them. I mean, Utah you can.
Yeah.
You see the two perspectives. The two perspectives, and this is like a mild two perspectives. But John sees nature and perfection in trees, and I see weeds. I like the weeds.
Creeper.
I like the weeds, but spitting gum on weeds is totally okay with me.
Well, it's not that big a deal. But the fact that you see nature as weeds, like, I'm kind of creeped out being in nature with you.
This is why we don't do podcasts, because the truth freaks people out. Nobody wants to know the deep, dark secrets about Micah, where he sees weeds everywhere.
You really do see weeds? You see that pine tree and see a weed?
I mean, to a point, yes, but they're beautiful weeds. I mean, I love pine trees. It's my favorite for sure. Huh. Mostly because the pine needles kill all the trees underneath them and keeps the smaller weeds under control. I love pine trees.
Was that a Trump reference?
Well, I don't think so.
I feel like it was.
Those are beautiful. Those are my favorite pine trees.
Best pine trees.
Best pine. The biggest pine trees you've ever seen. These pine trees will take over the entire forest.
Yo, thanks for tuning in to the Post Reality Podcast with John and Micah. Come check us out again, man. We're always going to be throwing stuff out there. Going to be pretty random. Never know when it's going to come, but listen when you see it, if that makes any sense. Guaranteed, we're going to keep it fresh. We're going to continue being weird, and we're going to tackle those things that make your head spin. Or maybe they don't. That is the question. Is your head spinning, or is it in place? Check it out again. Thank you. Cheers.